welcome to the J.D. Power Travel Podcast. I'm Michael Taylor. I'm the Managing Director of Travel, Hospitality, and Retail at J.D. Power, and I'm joined by Andrea Stokes, who, by the way, has a cold, so if she sounds a little under the weather there, it's completely understandable. Andrea, if you can respond.
Yes, hello.
Okay, good. Don't strain yourself here. You know, we have to have some healthy practice leads around here. And we have a guest this week that we're very happy to have on the podcast, Jamie Mageau, who is the Director of Research Products at the U.S. Travel Association in Washington, D.C. So welcome, Jamie.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Jamie, if you could just give us a quick background of, what USTA does, what its mission is, and then how you fit in that and the things that you get involved with.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So U.S. Travel Association, we're a trade association based in Washington, D.C. Our mission is to increase travel to and within the United States, and we're the only association with that mission. We're a little bit unique in that we cover the entire travel industry, including lodging companies, car rentals, online travel agencies, airlines, airports, other related associations, destination marketing organizations, as well as state tourism offices. And so our primary role is related to advocacy. And we really want to facilitate the travel experience, to make travel a better experience, to make it seamless and secure. And related to advocacy, we also talk about how essential travel is to the U.S. economy, to show how important it is in terms of jobs, contributions to our trade balance from international travelers, contributions to the GDP from traveler spending. So we're always trying to communicate the importance and value of travel and tourism to the U.S. economy. Obviously, during COVID, it was a very hard hit and still is a hard hit industry, and we're still making strides to recovery. My role in research, we primarily support public affairs, but we also support the entire industry, and we work to inform our members, keep them apprised of the current situation, whether it's economic, consumer factors and trends, as well as how the travel industry is performing. And we also work closely with our government relations team and helping inform policies. We try to be extremely data-driven to help understand the impacts of potential policies and legislation, as well as policies that have been enacted that may be detrimental, understanding the impact of different events and situations like COVID on the travel and tourism industry. We work closely with the communications and media team to make sure that, travel's highlighted as an essential industry in the U.S. economy, and also kind of the importance of travel to the U.S. economy and the various subsegments, whether it's leisure, business, group, or transient, as well as international travel. And I also work closely with our marketing and membership teams to help inform our membership, whether it's through webinars or different events, and as well as other communities and committees like our Research Advisory Committee. And I've been at U.S. Travel for 10 years as of this past April, and it's been a fun, wild ride, and I'm excited to see what's ahead for 23.
Okay, just as a point of clarification, could you define what you mean by transient travel?
Transient travel is really travel to visit clients, customers, suppliers, other stakeholders. It tends to be kind of a smaller meeting to conduct business, to develop relationships, to close sales, potentially for logistics and transportation, to fix infrastructure, those kind of more one-off calls as well. Whereas group business tends to be larger meetings, conferences, trade shows, conventions, etc.
Okay. All right. Glad to have that clarification. So what did USTA think of 2022, the year that's just passed? How would you guys characterize it?
So largely it was a positive year. We've seen a lot of growth. There was really only one way up from the depths of 2020 and 21. I think leisure travel, as I'm sure J.D. Power has seen as well, has really been the driver of recovery. And even as of towards the end of 21, was by far the first segment to fully recover. And there continues to be quite a lot of pent-up demand. The two segments that continue to struggle and have longer recovery timelines are business and international. And, with the start of 21 and Omicron, and then some other headwinds that we've been facing along, elevated inflation and gasoline prices, and then particularly around international inbound, just the unstable economies across the world, as well as the pre-departure testing requirement that wasn't lifted until June. And now we're still facing significant visa processing delays on the international front. So, we still have work to do to recover the international inbound travel. As of the latest October data, overseas visitation was still down about 30% from 2019 levels. Whereas I mentioned, leisure's been fully recovered and really continues to drive recovery. And business travel is nearly there. I think there's still some room to recover there. And unfortunately, our forecast for 23 for business travel has been downgraded a little bit in light of the economy and a lot of uncertainty for businesses.
Is there anything else about 2023 that you guys see as a coming trend?
So, I'm sure everyone's pretty familiar with the economic data, and there are a lot of headwinds. I think Oxford Economics, who we partner with quite a bit, they are anticipating a mild recession in 2023, largely as a result of elevated inflation, higher interest rates. There's a lot of uncertainty among consumers, and business profits will probably be downgraded a little bit. But that said, the consumer still remains really strong, particularly higher end consumers that tend to be travelers. There's still quite a bit of strong balance sheets among companies. Households are really positioned strongly. There's still about $1.5 trillion left in savings from COVID. Pent-up demand still we have not seen any lessening of pent-up demand for leisure travel, and even business travel, although more slowly than leisure, continues to build. So unlike other previous recessions, we feel pretty good about travel heading into next year, and is really uniquely positioned to better weather this downturn than in the past. So even though in the most recent forecast, the 2023 outlook was revised downward slightly, particularly for international, we're expecting a very resilient travel sector across all segments.
Okay, and I know you wouldn't want to talk about what your individual member companies feel about travel and the outlook for travel, but in general, what is your membership expecting in 2023?
Yeah, so we've been taking a look at all of the earning calls and statements from many of our member companies, and actually just today, Delta reported that they're now expecting 2023 revenue to nearly double, thanks to the robust travel demand. And Delta, as well as other travel organizations, including lodging, attractions, rental car companies, have been really largely upbeat about travel demand. They continue to see consumers prioritizing experiences, shifting their spending from goods to services, particularly travel. Even despite economic weaknesses ahead. Like I mentioned, household balance sheets are still fairly strong, even though the savings are diminishing. So we're seeing, near-term outlook remains really largely positive as a result of consumer savings, pent-up demand, and travel just being largely resilient. I think longer term, there's a little bit more uncertainty. And particularly related to business travel, a lot of our member companies are seeing much shorter booking windows. So I think planning and anticipating demand has gotten a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, that's interesting. So we do know that USTA, you're located there in Washington, D.C., and you do talk to the federal government quite a bit. So what are the priorities for USTA in regards to what they're asking the federal government to do, or what they're advocating that our lawmakers do in 2023?
Well, our top priority right now is related to visitor visa wait times. They're actually averaging a staggering 400 or more days for first-time applicants in some of our largest inbound markets, including Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, and India. And this is really creating a de facto travel ban, deterring potential visitors from wanting to travel to the U.S. We're estimating that we'll lose 7 million potential visitors and 12 billion in potential spending in 2023 alone due to the excessive wait times. And just last week, we launched a They Wait, We Lose activation that highlights the issues surrounding the excessive visa wait times. And in this effort, we have a website capturing the perspectives of potential visitors, as well as U.S. business owners that are hurt by these excessive visa wait times. And the advocacy effort is featured across social media platforms using the hashtag #TheyWaitWeLose. And then again, related back to the forecast, with business and international travel spending looking at a 2027 and 2025 time horizon for full recovery, international is not expected to recover to 2025, and business travel is not expected to recover to 2027 when taking into account inflation. We're asking Congress in the near term, hopefully before even the end of the year, to address the long visa wait times by enacting a Visitor Visa Wait Time Reduction Act, which prioritizes visa processing resources among consulates with the highest demand and longest wait times. And then two other things we're asking related to business travel to support the Service Worker Economic Stabilization Act. And this bipartisan bill would temporarily remove disincentives in the tax code that discourage companies from spending on in-person meetings and business travel. So I think that's getting back to the entertainment tax that was dropped a few years ago. And then lastly, passing the Omnibus Travel and Tourism Act. This bill includes a bipartisan Visit America Act, which would establish an Assistant Secretary of Travel and Tourism at the Department of Commerce. So again, just really kind of elevating travel and tourism to the level of some other industries that do have assistant secretaries and have a specific person in the administration overseeing and providing strategy for the industry. So that's kind of near term what we're looking at and what we're asking Congress to consider.
Well, that's quite a list. So, Andrea, if you're able, do you have any questions for our guest, Jamie?
I just want to thank you, Jamie, for joining us today. It's very enlightening, everything that USTA is doing. I think a lot of people aren't aware of how much work USTA does. So thank you.
Yeah, that was quite an exhaustive list. Yeah, I got tired just listening to it. So.
Yes, we are busy. We expect more on the horizon as it relates to facilitating the travel experience and improving seamless and secure travel, and again making people want to travel again and get back on the road.
And we're all for that at JD Power as well. Well, Jamie Mageau, thank you very much for being our guest. Jamie Mageau of the U.S. Travel Association. And as always, you can always go to our website to find out more about what JD Power is doing. Go to JD Power, click on business, scroll down till eventually you'll find a list of travel studies. And you can get updates on things that we're doing there and some interesting data as well. So once again, thank you very much for listening. This is Mike Taylor and Andrea Stokes saying so long. See you on the next podcast.